Still wondering what is going on with Aaliyah Boston and that injury. What's going on with Lexi Hull? Why are we dealing with injuries like this? What happened in Unrivaled? What is this lower leg issue? What is it? Are we doing the Caitlin Clark day-to-day ankle thing all over again with the fever in their PR department? Is that what's happening?
This is not the story the WNBA wants you to hear, because the numbers from the Indiana Fever's preseason game tell a completely different story than the one being celebrated online. On the surface, it sounds impressive. The preseason matchup between the Indiana Fever and the New York Liberty pulled in 743,000 viewers, and the league quickly pushed the narrative that this was a 76% increase over last year. That sounds like massive growth, right? That's exactly how it's supposed to sound. But once you actually look at what they're comparing it to,
it's telecast of the first preseason game of the year with the Indiana Fever and the New York Liberty. Let's keep it real, the two biggest teams in the league. The Indiana Fever and New York Liberty on Saturday, April 25th, delivered an average audience of 743,000. That is an increase of 76% over Ion's first preseason game last season. And I was like, well, am I going nuts, or does 743,000 feel a little light?
Let us start with the
entire story starts to fall apart. That 76% increase isn't being measured against another Indiana Fever game. It's not being compared to a game featuring Caitlin Clark. Instead, it's being compared to a Dallas Wings versus Las Vegas Aces preseason game from last year that drew just over 400,000 viewers, and even a Chicago Sky exhibition game that had even lower numbers. In other words, they're using games that had far less attention as the baseline to make this year's number look bigger than it actually is. Now here's the comparison that actually matters. Last year,
well, they're celebrating with higher ratings based on a Dallas Wings Aces game from last year that got 406,000 viewers, and a Chicago Sky Brazil game averaging 305,000 viewers. They were not comparing this 76% increase to another Indiana Fever preseason game.
The Indiana Fever played a preseason game that averaged around 1.3 million viewers and peaked even higher. That game featured Caitlin Clark and drew massive attention. Fast forward to this year, same team, same star, arguably an even bigger matchup against a powerhouse New York Liberty roster featuring Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart, and the number drops to 743,000. That's not growth. That's a drop of roughly 600,000 viewers. And it gets even more uncomfortable when you look at where the games were broadcast. Last year's game was on ESPN, which reaches around 70 million households. This year's game aired on iOne, which is available in over 100 million homes and can even be accessed for free in many cases. In terms of accessibility, this year's game had a bigger platform, a bigger reach, and still pulled in significantly fewer viewers. That's not a distribution issue. That's a viewership issue. And the people presenting these numbers know exactly how that looks, which is why the comparison was framed the way it was. Because if you put the real numbers side by side, it raises questions, serious questions, about what's actually going on. So, why did the viewership feel softer than expected? The answer isn't complicated. There's a real portion of the Fever fanbase that's frustrated right now. Not just mildly disappointed, frustrated. Last season, fans watched Caitlin Clark deal with an injury situation that was repeatedly described as day-to-day, week after week, with constant hope that she would return soon. But she never did. And by the time the season ended, a lot of fans felt like they had been strung along. That kind of frustration doesn't disappear overnight. When trust is shaken, people don't immediately come back with the same energy. Some fans are watching more cautiously. Some are waiting to see how things play out before fully investing again. And that hesitation shows up in the numbers. Now fast forward to this preseason, and the injury concerns are already back. Aaliyah Boston is dealing with a lower leg injury, but details are minimal. No clear timeline, no real explanation, just vague updates and uncertainty about when she'll be fully available. For fans who already felt uneasy about how injuries were handled last season, this feels familiar in the worst way. And then there's the basketball itself. There's a growing conversation among fans about how Caitlin Clark is being used on the court. Some fans want the ball in her hands more. They want her controlling the pace, making decisions, and running the offense the way she did when she became one of the most exciting players in the sport. Instead, there are moments where she's playing off the ball, moving through a system rather than being the system. Now, from a coaching perspective, there's logic to that. Structure matters. Balance matters. But Caitlin Clark's appeal, the reason so many people tune in, is what she does with the ball in her hands. That's her superpower. And when fans feel like they're not getting the full version of that, it affects how they engage with the game. Even the scheduling raised eyebrows. Opening the preseason and regular season against the same opponent, the Dallas Wings, felt like a missed opportunity to create more variety and excitement. It's a small detail, but it adds to a larger pattern of decisions that leave fans questioning whether the team is maximizing its moment. And make no mistake, this is a big moment. The Indiana Fever have the talent. Caitlin Clark is one of the biggest draws in the sport. Aaliyah Boston is a cornerstone player. The team has the pieces to compete and the attention to grow even further. But attention only lasts if the product delivers. Right now, there are too many questions. Questions about injuries. Questions about transparency. Questions about how the team is being run and presented. And when those questions start to pile up, they impact how fans respond. That's what we're seeing in the numbers. 743,000 viewers for a game of this magnitude, on a network with this kind of reach, should have been higher. Not slightly higher, significantly higher. And the fact that it wasn't suggests that something isn't connecting the way it should. This isn't about tearing anything down. It's about recognizing reality. Because the potential is still there. The audience is still there. But to get those numbers back to where